Catzz Money Army, what's up? Man, this is my third time going at it. I have never recorded 3 videos in one day. So the whole purpose of this video is for me to share my first time having a live conversation with a random stranger. And this live conversation I had actually rewarded me about $60. And out of respect for this client, I will not mention this person's name, nor will I mention the company's website. Instead, I will illustrate what I experienced through my iPad. Oh, please do me a favor. Smash the like button and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. Without further ado, let's get into it. First, let's log into the PlayBookUX and I will show you guys my history. In PlayBookUX, we need to click on sign in. And then sign in as a tester.
A few moments later.
Okay, so after logging into PlayBookUX, let's navigate to the tab that says completed tests. And currently my rating is 5 out of 5. And I was just lucky because one client happened to rate me. Some of this layout was kind of jacked up, I guess because the iPad screen is too small and some of these transaction IDs are too long for it. On PlayBookUX, the first test that I've qualified for happens to be a one-on-one live conversation. This live conversation took place on the weekend. It was on a Saturday. So on Saturday, we scheduled a meeting around the noontime, and I thought, oh, that's kind of odd for corporation to schedule exams on the weekends. And apparently this client told me that it was common, knowing that many corporate professionals probably don't have time on weekdays, especially during work time. So they offer after work hours from 6 o'clock or later, and also weekend hours. And that's actually kind of true based on my experience with Respondent and user testing. A lot of these one-on-one live conversation that's geared toward office related kind of questionnaires, those always seem to offer after work hours and weekend hours. But yeah, this conversation took place on a Saturday afternoon. Based on my history here, I have completed several different tests. I believe only 2 were live conversations. The rest of these were just prototype testing where it was unmoderated. And then out of the 9 tests that I've took, only 1 where I've done an excellent job and the client rated me. And I was pretty sure this one where I was rated 5 stars, it was also scheduled on Saturday, where they asked me questions more geared towards, it's almost like technology kind of question, but it's more like help desk, product, services. And so that was actually the only one that rated me and I got 5 stars. Since I have 5 stars, it becomes easier for me to get the next gig. But I haven't really applied for any since December. Since I was busy with YouTube, I barely have time to apply for these one-on-one conversations anymore. But later on, once I have more free time, I'll probably come back to PlayBookUX and apply for another gig. But yeah, so the very first one I had was on a Saturday afternoon, and it was regarding a healthcare website. I've installed Zoom, and at work we have Zoom and Teams, so I'm familiar with it. But it was my first time dialing a Zoom meeting with a random stranger. In fact, I had no idea it was just going to be one person. I thought it was going to be maybe 3 or 4 persons going to be there. But it was just one person. This person had dressed professionally and I was wearing my tank tops or something. And within the first 10 minutes, my laptop seemed to crash. I was on an older laptop and I had no idea that Zoom couldn't even perform well. So after when my laptop crashed, I had to immediately jump over to my personal computer, install Zoom, hoping that the client would still remain there. And about 15 minutes, I was able to get Zoom up and running. And then this person started asking me, questions about my background, where I work at, what are some of my skill set, what is my current job title. It was actually on Figma. Figma is an app that I mentioned in one of my previous videos where it's more for prototype testing. So this client had a certain website up on Figma, and then this person proceeded and asked me questions. So it was something similar to this. There was a healthcare website that was presented to me. Let's use Jefferson Health as an example, even though this is not the website I was asked to evaluate. But it was something like this where, there's a website given to me, and then this client asked me to evaluate the website within the first 5 minutes, explain my impression, my thought process, right? What's going on in my head. That was the first question this person asked me. The second question was, this person asked me to search for a certain building or a certain location, explain to this person whether it was considered a hospital or a clinic? And I said, well, the location I'm looking at is not really a hospital. Based on the description, is more of a clinic. Client was actually curious to know if like the average Joe would understand the difference between a clinic and a hospital. And I had explained to this client that, because I come from a healthcare professional background, it was quite clear to me the difference between a hospital and a clinic. But honestly, the average person would probably not figure out. So one of the feedback that I gave during that time was to maybe add some sort of location type, whether it's a clinic, hospital, ER, that will help patients distinguish between the different services they had to offer. So that was the second question. Now, the third question they asked, questions related to like hours. If someone asked me to find the office hour, where within the website would I actually navigate to look for the office hours? Pretty much for me, just clicking on links. That person was questioning why I click on certain links. And I said, well, if I'm looking for hours, the hours would probably be under location. So I thought, well, why not click on the location tab like this? And then under locations, apparently locations didn't have the hours. So then I realized there was like a number on the upper right hand corner somewhere. So for Jefferson, there's a number here where I could call. By calling a phone number is kind of like old fashioned. And so this person kind of saw that I was struggling to get the hours. And I said, oh, wouldn't it make sense if we put these office hours or clinic hours on the upper right hand corner somewhere? And then this person said, oh yeah, that does make sense, because this person saw that I was kind of struggling just to find the store hours. If it's like a snowy emergency day, where would you look at to see if the hospital is still open? And I said, well, it should still be within the same location of where it displays the office hours or hospital hours. So let's see if Jefferson has the current office hours today. Let's click on hospitals, and it doesn't seem like the Jefferson website is working that well. Yeah, so we went back and forth, with a few more questions, and then this person asked me, what are some things I would recommend improving on this website? And I said, well, first add in the location hours on the upper right-hand corner to make it easier for patients. The second thing I've also mentioned was to classify the service type, like whether it's a clinic, hospital, emergency, add it somewhere. So at least that way the patient know, hey, this building that they're looking for is not really the emergency department, and so those were two examples I asked. After talking to this person for like 1 hour, this person then asked me to rate my experiences from a scale of 1 to 7. 7 being the best, 1 being the worst. The last question this person asked me was, if I had a magic wand, what are some things I would change or improve the website? What are some things that were confusing? So I had spent another maybe 10-15 minutes to explain my thought process to this person. And also keep in mind that whenever I spoke, this person was taking notes. When I started talking, this person had a pen, and this person would write notes down every time when I started talking. That right there kind of gave me a sense that, the feedback that I've offered is really important to them. And this is also what this person told me, This is not me bragging or anything, but this person did mention that out of all of the candidates that actually applied for this live conversation, this person mentioned that I've gave the most detailed feedback on things to improve on. So, I was kind of happy that this person complimented me. And I even told this person that, hey, it was my first time doing it and I was not really sure what to expect. So we were like kind of laughing about it, and this person told me, oh, it's actually normal for them to set up live conversation with random strangers. And I said, oh, it was my first time, it wasn't too bad. And I also wouldn't mind doing it again. If it's another website they want me to give feedback to, or if it's some improvement that they had made to the original website where they want me to take a second look at it again, I'm all up for it. But yeah, it was my first time doing it, and because it was my first time, that memory is embedded in my brain for the rest of my life now. One-on-one live conversation, I think, is actually better than focus group because it gives you more time for you to talk and hear that person out without much background noises. And because it was one-on-one, there was a lot more questions asked to me, and I had more spotlight to respond back to this person's questions, unlike a focus group. Overall, I would say that's one of the quickest ways to earn $60 within 1 hour, especially those that enjoy talking with others. I would highly recommend doing one-on-one conversation. PlayBookUX is one example, but you have user testing, Respondent, user feel, and there's about 3 more websites that also offer these type of like live conversation focus group, but I haven't got a chance to explore those 3 other websites yet. So for our future videos, I will mention more about these prototype focus group testing kind of websites. But yeah, let me know in the comments below if you had experienced any one-on-one live conversations, because I'm sure a lot of folks subscribe to my channel, they're curious as well. As always, there are 1,000 ways to make money. Cha-ching!